Brianna Turner was on this team for I don't even know if it was 24 hours, because I can't imagine why you would sign her. I understand she's supposed to be this great defensive player, but is it worth taking a flamethrower to your fan base and your locker room, by the way?
Brianna Turner went from newest Fever signing to public enemy #1 in less than a day. I mean, how do you fumble the bag this fast? The Indiana Fever thought they were adding a solid defender, a veteran presence, someone to help Caitlin Clark lead this team into the future. But instead, oh no, Turner walked in with a flamethrower, and the first thing she torched? The fan base. Fever fans were hyped, ready to roll with this new squad, dreaming of championships. And then, they found out about Turner's old tweets, straight up shade at Clark and her Iowa squad, and trust me, it wasn't subtle. Fans didn't just react, they erupted. The backlash hit like a meteor. And you know what's wild? Instead of apologizing, instead of smoothing things over, Turner doubled down.
Going after the Iowa Hawkeyes, talking shit about Caitlin Clark fans. It's baffling. Seriously.
She basically told fans, deal with it, and kept it pushing. Big mistake. Now the Fever are facing a full-blown PR nightmare, and the fans, they're demanding she be cut before she even plays a single minute. So what happens next? Does the Fever try to fix this mess? Or is Turner already on her way out the door? Let's break it all down, because this is a disaster in the making. But before we jump into the good stuff, take a quick second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. By joining our crew, you'll always be in the loop with the latest WNBA updates, expert takes, and breakdowns of big moves just like this. Don't miss out, we've got every angle covered. So hit that like button, subscribe, and let's dive right in. How did we get here? All right, let's hit the rewind button for a second. The Indiana Fever made a move that should have been a slam dunk, signing Brianna Turner, a strong defensive player and a veteran presence. This was supposed to be a great step forward for the team. They're rebuilding, stacking talent, and with Caitlin Clark leading the charge, adding experienced players seemed like a no-brainer. The fans were hyped, expecting to see a well-rounded squad coming together. But just as people were getting ready to celebrate this new addition, social media investigators did what they do best, dug deep. And what did they find? Oh, just a goldmine of old tweets that made one thing painfully obvious: Turner had serious shade for Caitlin Clark in her Iowa squad. And this wasn't some lighthearted banter. This was the kind of stuff that made Fever fans take a step back and say, wait a minute, did we just sign someone who doesn't even respect our star player? As these tweets started making the rounds, the excitement over Turner's signing quickly turned into a storm of backlash. And if there's one thing you don't want to do as a new player, it's alienate the fan base before you even step on the court. So now the real question is, what exactly did Turner say that had fans seeing red? Let's dive into the social media disaster that took this situation from 0 to 100 in record time. Now here's where things took a dramatic turn. This wasn't just any tweet. Oh no, this was a direct shot at Iowa's runner-up celebration after last year's NCAA tournament, an event that, by the way, was heavily supported by fans who were proud of what the team had achieved. Turner wrote, Iowa will hold a celebration to honor the NCAA runner-up. All players and coaches expected. Respectfully, I'm confused. Is this what a runner-up typically does? At first glance, this might seem like a simple question, maybe even a lighthearted joke. But let's be real, this wasn't just an innocent observation. This was classic social media shade, and the timing of it only made things worse. If there's one thing sports fans have, it's long memories, and they never forget when someone takes a shot at their favorite player. The real issue? Turner wasn't just commenting on any team. She was publicly questioning a celebration for the most talked about player in women's basketball right now, Caitlin Clark. Clark isn't just a star, she's the star. She's the reason WNBA ticket sales are skyrocketing, the reason networks are broadcasting more games, and the reason people who never watched women's basketball before are suddenly tuning in. So when fans came across those old tweets, they didn't just ignore them. They exploded. They went into full defense mode, seeing Turner's words as a direct attack on the player who had single-handedly revitalized the league's popularity. And if there's one thing you do not want as a new Fever player, it's Caitlin Clark's fan base turning against you. But the backlash didn't stop there. It spread like wildfire, igniting debates across social media and stirring up heated discussions about loyalty, respect, and whether a player with this kind of attitude should even be on the team. And if you thought things couldn't get any messier, oh, just wait, because the fans weren't the only ones who had something to say about it. And just like that, the fan base erupted. What started as excitement for a fresh addition to the team quickly spiraled into outrage, disbelief, and a full-on social media storm. One moment, Fever fans were eagerly anticipating how Turner would contribute to the team's success. The next, they were demanding she be cut before she even stepped on the court. Some were calling for her immediate release, others were questioning the Fever's decision-making, and all of them were shocked by how fast things went south. Comments started pouring in from every direction. We were excited for a defensive anchor, but now we're just defending Caitlin Clark from her own teammate. Speedrunning the How to Ruin Your Welcome challenge, I see. Why would you sign someone who's already got beef with our franchise star? Did nobody check her Twitter before offering the contract? If she had any sense, she'd delete the tweets, issue an apology, and focus on basketball. Fans weren't just angry, they were offended that a player who had previously shaded their biggest star was now wearing the same jersey. They felt like Turner's attitude didn't align with the team's culture, and they were not going to let this slide. If Turner had just stayed quiet, maybe this whole thing blows over with time. Maybe fans let it go if she comes in, puts her head down, and proves she's here to play basketball. But instead, she made things 1,000 times worse, and that's where things really took a turn for the worse. Because instead of diffusing the situation, she did something no PR team in the world would ever recommend. Instead of taking a step back, reading the room, and attempting to mend the situation, Turner went full deal-with-it mode. She didn't offer an explanation. She didn't acknowledge the backlash. She doubled down. She responded with, "Feel free to unfollow me or block me if that is bothersome to you." Oh no, just no. Now that is not how you win over a new fan base. That's how you make yourself the center of a PR disaster. Fans weren't just mad anymore. They were furious. They felt disrespected, dismissed, and even more convinced that Turner didn't care about the team or its supporters. This response wasn't just defiant, it was dismissive. Rather than showing any kind of regret, she essentially told the fans to take a hike if they didn't like what she had to say. The moment this tweet hit the internet, the backlash only intensified. Fans, already enraged, took this as proof that Turner wasn't a good fit for the team's culture. And when social media erupts like that, there's no putting the fire out easily. At this point, the conversation shifted from, "Why did she say that?" to, "Why is she even on this team?" Fans were now openly calling for her to be cut, and the Indiana Fever found themselves with an unexpected crisis on their hands. But the damage wasn't just external. The Fever's front office and coaching staff had to be asking themselves a tough question: how do they manage a player who's already alienated an entire fan base before even stepping on the court? And things only got worse when the locker room dynamic came into question. Whoa, you've made it this far. That must mean you're really enjoying the video, right? So why not take a quick second to hit that follow button? It's totally free, super simple, and helps us keep bringing you more awesome content, especially if you love the WNBA. Whether it's game highlights, player spotlights, or behind-the-scenes moments, we've got you covered. Plus, by following, you'll never miss a beat when it comes to your favorite teams and players. Go on, tap that follow now. All right, let's jump back in. Here's the thing, this isn't just about one tweet. It's about who it was directed at and what it represents for the entire team and league. Caitlin Clark isn't just another player. She's the player. She's the face of the franchise, the reason Fever games are sold out, the reason the WNBA is getting primetime coverage, and the reason new fans are tuning in every single game. The moment she stepped into the league, she didn't just join the Indiana Fever, she became the Indiana Fever. She's the kind of once-in-a-generation talent that transforms a team, a city, and even an entire sport. So when Turner came in with old tweets shading Clark, that's like showing up to a wedding and bad-mouthing the bride in front of the entire crowd. It doesn't matter how good your speech is, you've already lost the room. And in Turner's case, she didn't just lose the room, she lost the entire arena. To make matters worse, Clark has never publicly disrespected any player in the league. She just wants to play basketball, make her team better, and elevate the game. She's not out here engaging in Twitter feuds or making sly digs at her competition. So seeing another player who's supposed to be her teammate throw shade at her, that's not just bad optics, that's locker room poison. And let's not forget, locker room chemistry is everything in professional sports. If there's tension between teammates, it's going to show up on the court. And if Turner doesn't clear this up fast, she's going to find herself on the outside looking in while Clark continues to take the WNBA by storm. But the real question now is, how does this affect the Fever's dynamic moving forward? Can this team function with all this tension brewing in the background? Or is this controversy going to be the start of something even bigger? But wait, it gets worse. Fans are one thing, but what about the players? The locker room is supposed to be a team, a place where players build trust, chemistry, and support each other. If Turner already has this history of taking shots at Clark, how is that going to work on the court? Can they put this behind them and focus on winning? Or is this going to be a problem all season long? Because let's be real, if Turner starts off cold, if she has a few bad games, if the team isn't clicking, this drama is going to bubble up fast. So here's where things get really tricky. Do they back Turner and try to smooth things over, hoping fans will move on? That's risky. Caitlin Clark's fan base is loyal, and they're not about to forget this anytime soon. Or do they cut her and send a message that negativity toward Clark won't be tolerated? That might sound extreme, but let's be honest, WNBA teams don't hesitate to drop role players if they become a distraction. Turner might be a strong defender, but she's not a franchise player. If she becomes more of a liability than an asset, the Fever won't think twice about moving on. Turner's two choices. Right now, she has two clear paths, and one of them could make or break her WNBA career. Apologize, own up, and focus on basketball. If Turner swallows her pride, issues a genuine apology, and shifts her attention toward proving herself on the court, she might still have a shot at redemption. Fans might be upset now, but winning has a funny way of healing wounds. If she locks in, performs well, and genuinely commits to being a team player, she could turn the tide in her favor. Keep tweeting, keep doubling down, and risk getting cut. If she continues down this path of defiance, refusing to acknowledge the impact of her words and dismissing fan concerns, the Fever could decide she's just not worth the trouble. The WNBA is a business, and if a player, even a talented one, becomes a distraction, teams will move on quickly. Turner has to ask herself, is proving a point on social media worth sacrificing a promising basketball career? Right now, all eyes are on Turner. Will she take the high road, show maturity, and dedicate herself to the game? Or will she let pride and social media battles define her legacy? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the clock is ticking, and the Fever won't wait forever. So what's next? Let's take a closer look at how the Fever front office is handling this mess, and whether they're willing to bet on Turner's potential or cut their losses before the season even begins. Wow, this situation went from 0 to 100 real quick. At first, it seemed like a great move, Brianna Turner, a solid defender, joining a young and promising Indiana Fever squad. But now, she's caught in the middle of a PR nightmare, and it's all because of some old tweets and a response that just made everything worse. The question is, can she come back from this? Will the Fever stand by her and try to smooth things over? Or will they decide that keeping her around is just too much of a distraction? Let's be real, WNBA teams don't hesitate to make roster changes when drama starts affecting team chemistry. And let's not forget about Caitlin Clark in all of this. She's the face of the franchise, the one drawing in massive crowds, and the future of the team. When a player, especially a new teammate, throws shade her way, it's not just a bad look, it's a serious problem. Locker room chemistry is everything, and if the vibes are already off before the season even starts, that's a huge red flag. So what do you think? Should the Fever stick with Turner and hope this all blows over? Or should they cut their losses before it becomes an even bigger issue? Is there any way for her to win back the fans? Or has she already burned that bridge? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts because trust me, this is a conversation that's only going to get louder. And before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We've got more WNBA updates, deep dives, and drama breakdowns coming your way, and you won't want to miss a single one. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.